When people talk about victory, they often speak of power, speed, and talent. But those things fade. Muscles get tired, speed slows down, and talent alone is never enough. What truly makes a man undefeated is not his body, it is his mind. A warrior wins long before he steps into the arena because his heart and soul are already trained to fight the battle within. Before you defeat anyone else, you must first defeat your own doubts, your own fears, your own ego. That is the hardest fight of all. An unbreakable mindset is not something that can be learned in a single day. It is forged over years of discipline, pain, and self-control. When a person decides to walk the path of greatness, the first thing they must build is not their body but their mind. Physical power is important, but it is useless without direction. Muscles can lift weight, but they cannot carry you through fear, pressure, and uncertainty. The mind is what commands the body. It tells the body when to endure and when to fight back. An unbreakable mindset is built in silence, away from applause, when no one is watching and you still choose to work, to train, to keep moving. It is about how you think, how you react to failure, and how you handle success. True strength begins when the mind learns to control emotions. Many fighters lose not because they are weaker, but because they lose control. Anger, pride, and doubt are the enemies within that destroy even the strongest warriors. A man with an unbreakable mindset does not react emotionally. He responds with focus. He doesn't fight for revenge or validation. He fights because it's his duty, his purpose. Every punch, every step, every decision comes from a place of clarity and control. This kind of mindset is built by facing discomfort every single day, by putting yourself through pain not to suffer, but to become stronger. When your mind gets used to hardship, nothing from the outside world can break you. An unbreakable mindset is also about consistency. It is not built through moments of motivation, but through years of repetition. Every day you wake up and train your body, but more importantly, you train your mind to obey discipline. It's about waking up early even when you're tired, eating clean when you want to cheat, and pushing forward when your body says stop. This mental endurance is what separates champions from dreamers. A person with an unbreakable mindset does not look for shortcuts. He looks for growth. He understands that the mind becomes sharp only through resistance, just like a sword becomes strong only through fire. The tougher the journey, the sharper the mind. What makes the mindset truly unbreakable is faith. The belief that whatever happens is part of a greater plan. When faith enters the mind, fear leaves. You stop worrying about what you can't control and focus only on what you can. You stop fearing the outcome and start respecting the process. Faith gives a man patience. It gives him calm in the middle of chaos. When you believe that your struggle has meaning, pain no longer feels like suffering. It becomes your teacher. Every loss, every failure, every setback becomes a lesson that shapes your destiny. The unbreakable mindset is built in solitude. It's when you are alone, tired, and no one is cheering for you. That's when you truly grow. Most people quit in those silent hours, but those who endure, who stay committed, find a level of strength that cannot be shaken. They learn to be their own motivation. They stop relying on others to believe in them because they have already learned to believe in themselves. That belief becomes their armor. No insult, no defeat, no pressure can touch them because they have mastered the art of inner peace. It is also about humility. An unbreakable mindset is not arrogant. It does not seek attention or validation. It is calm, quiet, and focused. The stronger the mind, the less it needs to prove itself. This humility keeps the mind clear and the spirit pure. You don't get distracted by fame or noise. You stay true to your values. A strong mind knows that pride destroys focus, and focus is everything. You train your mind to remain grounded even when success tries to lift you too high. That's why true warriors remain humble after victory and patient after defeat. When you have an unbreakable mindset, your thoughts become your weapon. You stop fighting for attention and start fighting for improvement. You stop complaining about obstacles and start using them as fuel. You realize that challenges exist not to stop you but to reveal your strength. The more you struggle, the stronger your mental foundation becomes. Eventually, you reach a point where the outside world cannot shake you. Not with failure, not with criticism, not even with loss. You learn that control is the ultimate strength. And once your mind is unbreakable, your destiny becomes unstoppable. Faith over fear is the principle that separates those who survive from those who truly live with purpose. It is the unseen force that carries a person through the darkest valleys and the hardest battles. When you have faith, you see beyond the moment. You trust that every hardship has meaning and every challenge is shaping you into someone stronger. Fear weakens the mind because it focuses on what might go wrong, while faith strengthens it by focusing on what can be learned and achieved. Fear is loud and impatient, but faith is calm and steady. When you live by faith, you are not driven by fear of failure, pain, or loss. You are guided by trust in something greater than yourself. It's not about being fearless. It's about choosing belief even when fear whispers louder. A warrior guided by faith is not controlled by uncertainty. He understands that fear will always exist, but it cannot dictate his actions. Fear belongs to those who doubt their path. Faith belongs to those who trust it. Faith gives you the courage to step forward when logic tells you to stop. It gives you strength to stand firm when everything around you is falling apart. It reminds you that victory is not always about defeating an opponent. Sometimes it's about overcoming the weakness inside you. When faith leads, fear becomes powerless. It loses its grip because the heart has already decided not to surrender. Faith creates mental stability under pressure. In moments of struggle, when exhaustion takes over, when your body breaks down, it is faith that keeps you moving. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Try me." You begin to understand that life's difficulties are not punishments, but tests of endurance and belief. Faith doesn't guarantee comfort, but it guarantees strength. It teaches patience, the ability to wait without losing hope. In the silence between your efforts and your results, faith is what keeps you disciplined, focused, and humble. It's what gives meaning to sacrifice and dignity to pain. Those who fight with fear lose control of their emotions, but those who fight with faith stay calm even in chaos. Fear makes you hesitate. Faith teaches you to act. Fear blinds you with doubt. Faith clears your vision with conviction. When fear enters the heart, confidence disappears, but when faith fills it, nothing can shake your peace. The strongest warriors are not the ones who never feel afraid, but the ones who do not let fear make decisions for them. They rely on faith to guide their steps, even when they can't see the full road ahead. That trust creates resilience, the ability to keep moving forward no matter how dark it gets. Faith also removes the need to prove yourself to others. When your purpose is rooted in belief, you stop chasing validation. You no longer care about being seen, praised, or accepted. You understand that your journey is between you and the one who wrote it for you. Fear lives in comparison, faith lives in conviction. You stop measuring your progress by the noise around you and start measuring it by your own peace. You train, you sacrifice, you grow, not because the world expects it, but because you believe it's your duty. That quiet confidence built on faith is stronger than any applause built on pride. In the toughest moments, faith is the anchor that holds your heart steady. When fear tells you to run, faith tells you to stand still. When fear says it's over, faith whispers it's only beginning. The battle is often not physical but spiritual. A fight between doubt and belief, between surrender and perseverance. Those who win are not the ones who never feel afraid, but the ones who let faith speak louder than fear. The presence of fear is normal. The decision to trust despite fear is what makes a person unstoppable. The greatest strength of faith is that it brings peace even before the outcome. When you fight with faith, you stop obsessing over results. You understand that your responsibility is to give your best and the rest is not in your hands. That mindset brings calmness in chaos and clarity in confusion. You stop wasting energy on worry and start investing it in effort. You realize that everything happening is preparing you for something greater, something you can't yet see, but will one day understand. That trust keeps you humble in victory and graceful in defeat. Faith over fear is not just a belief, it's a way of living. It means you walk through the fire without losing your balance, you face the storm without losing your direction, and you fall without losing your will to rise. When faith becomes your foundation, fear becomes just noise. It may echo, it may try to distract you, but it can never destroy you. Faith gives your spirit the armor it needs to face life with dignity and courage, and that is why those who live by faith never truly lose. Because their victory begins in the heart long before it appears in the world. Purpose before pride is the foundation of true greatness, the principle that defines whether a person fights for meaning or for attention. When your purpose is clear, your path becomes unshakable. But when pride leads, it blinds you to truth and discipline. Pride is loud, purpose is silent. Pride wants recognition, purpose wants results. Pride fades the moment applause stops, but purpose lives on even in solitude. Those who live with purpose don't seek validation from others. They are driven by a mission that goes beyond ego, fame, or reward. Purpose gives you direction when pride tries to distract you. It teaches you that every step, every sacrifice, and every challenge must serve something greater than yourself. A man guided by purpose doesn't fight to prove he is better. He fights to fulfill his duty. He understands that his strength, his skill, his success, all are tools given to him for a reason. Pride makes you believe you are the reason for your victories, but purpose reminds you that you are only a part of a bigger story. When purpose becomes your focus, you stop chasing attention and start chasing improvement. Every battle becomes meaningful because it aligns with your inner values, not your outer desires. Purpose shapes how you think, how you act, and how you handle both success and failure. It keeps you humble in victory and calm in defeat because you know your worth is not tied to people's opinions, but to your mission. Pride is dangerous because it feeds on comfort and comparison. It makes you think you've achieved enough, that you are above learning or correction. But purpose destroys pride by keeping you grounded. When you have a purpose, you see your journey as endless. There is always more to give, more to learn, more to improve. Pride builds walls, purpose builds bridges. Pride separates you from your roots, while purpose keeps you connected to them. A person of purpose never forgets where they came from and who helped them rise. They understand that honor and respect matter more than applause and fame. That's why true warriors remain humble. They know pride can win you attention, but only purpose can earn you respect. Living with purpose requires clarity. You must know why you are doing what you're doing, otherwise pride will lead you astray. Without a higher reason, every victory becomes empty, and every loss feels unbearable. Purpose gives strength to keep going even when there's no audience watching, because your motivation comes from within. It's not about proving your power, but about fulfilling your responsibility. When you live for a purpose, even pain becomes part of the process. You stop avoiding struggle because you understand it's necessary for growth. You train harder, you sacrifice more, and you stay disciplined because your mission demands it. Pride looks for comfort, purpose looks for challenge. The power of purpose also lies in its ability to give peace. When your intentions are pure, you stop competing with others and start competing with your past self. You no longer measure success by comparison, but by consistency. Pride thrives on how others see you. Purpose thrives on how you see yourself when you're alone. This is why people of purpose never lose focus. They don't let external noise disturb their internal vision. Their motivation is built on meaning, not on attention. Even when others doubt them, they continue with patience and belief because they know their path is not meant to be understood by everyone. Purpose before pride also means respecting your mentors, your values, and your principles. Pride often destroys great men because it makes them forget who guided them and what discipline taught them. But a person of purpose never forgets the roots of their strength. They carry gratitude like a shield and humility like a weapon. They understand that the goal is not just to win, but to win with integrity. Pride seeks the spotlight, purpose seeks legacy. Legacy is not built on noise or arrogance. It's built on silent dedication and consistent faithfulness to your mission. When you live by purpose, your mind becomes steady. You no longer get lost in the ups and downs of life. Success doesn't make you arrogant, and failure doesn't break you. You remain balanced because your eyes are fixed on something beyond both. Pride burns fast and disappears, but purpose lasts forever. It gives meaning to every victory and dignity to every defeat. Even if the world forgets your name, your actions will continue to inspire because they were rooted in something real. Putting purpose before pride transforms not just how you fight, but how you live. You learn to walk with calm confidence, to speak with intention, and to act with discipline. You realize that real strength is not in showing power, but in knowing when to stay silent, when to stay patient, and when to stay humble. Pride makes you chase the spotlight. Purpose makes you chase excellence. One fades, the other endures. And those who live with purpose never really lose, because everything they do becomes part of something far greater than themselves. Control and composure are the marks of a true warrior. They represent the ability to remain calm when everything around you burns with chaos, in moments of pressure, when emotions rise and the world demands reaction. Composure is what keeps you grounded. It is not about feeling nothing, it is about mastering what you feel. Control means discipline of the body, the mind, and the spirit. It means not allowing anger, fear, or pride to dictate your decisions. Many strong men have fallen not because they lacked skill, but because they lost control of themselves. The greatest strength a person can possess is not the ability to dominate others, but the ability to dominate their own emotions when tested. A composed mind is a powerful weapon. It sees clearly when others see confusion. It reacts with reason when others react with rage. In the heat of competition or the challenges of life, those who can stay calm often make the best decisions. Control allows you to think, to plan, and to act with purpose instead of impulse. Every time you choose patience over anger, you sharpen your focus. Every time you choose silence over ego, you strengthen your character. That's why real strength looks quiet, because calmness doesn't need to shout. It is confident, deliberate, and unshakable. Control is not about suppressing emotion, but about understanding it. Anger can be a tool when directed correctly, but a weapon when left wild. Fear can be guidance when understood, but poison when obeyed. A true warrior doesn't pretend to be emotionless. He learns to harness those emotions and turn them into discipline. When you can feel pain, frustration, and doubt yet still stay focused on your purpose, that is control. When you can face insults or disrespect yet respond with silence and dignity, that is composure. It's easy to act strong when everything goes right. The test of real power comes when nothing goes as planned. In those moments of chaos, control becomes your anchor. When the crowd screams, when opponents provoke, when fatigue crushes your body, composure keeps your mind clear. You remember your training, your principles, and your purpose. You realize that reacting emotionally only gives power to the other side. So, you stay still when others panic. You observe when others overthink. You conserve energy when others waste it. That's how control wins battles long before they end, because the one who remains calm longest is often the one who prevails. Composure is also about respecting time and rhythm. Life moves in waves, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, and the person who knows when to strike and when to wait always has the advantage. Control teaches you patience. It makes you understand that timing is everything. You don't rush your growth or force outcomes. You prepare quietly, you act wisely, and you let the results unfold naturally. That patience builds unshakable confidence because you are no longer ruled by haste or pressure. You start trusting the process more than the outcome, knowing that consistency always beats chaos. This kind of self-control doesn't come easy. It is trained through repetition and discipline. Every time you choose to train when tired, every time you choose humility over ego, every time you hold your temper in the face of disrespect, you are building a stronger mind. You're teaching yourself that emotion will not control you. With time, this discipline becomes your identity. You start responding to life differently. Challenges no longer scare you because you've learned to control your reaction to them. You stop being reactive and start being strategic. That is the mindset of a true champion. Not to fight every battle emotionally, but to choose battles wisely and face them with calm precision. Control also earns respect. People may not always admire power, but they always respect restraint. Anyone can shout, argue, or act out of anger, but only the strong can remain silent and composed. Silence in control speaks louder than words in chaos. It shows that you value dignity over dominance, peace over pride. This calmness becomes your strength in relationships, in leadership, and in competition. It makes you a person others can trust because your emotions do not make your decisions for you. Control and composure are not about pretending to be perfect. They are about staying centered when life tries to unbalance you. You will face moments that test every part of your being. Moments where frustration burns, where people provoke you, where your patience feels empty. In those times, control becomes your shield. You take a deep breath, remember your principles, and move forward with grace. The more you practice this, the more unshakable you become. And when you master this art, chaos no longer intimidates you. It becomes the stage where your calmness shines. Because in the end, true warriors are not remembered for how loud they fought, but for how quietly they conquered themselves. Legacy through discipline is the path that separates temporary fame from eternal respect. Many people achieve success for a moment, but only those who live with discipline build a legacy that lasts beyond their lifetime. Discipline is not about punishment, it is about structure, control, and the commitment to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It is the foundation upon which greatness stands. Every champion, every leader, every legend is built not by talent alone, but by the consistency of discipline. It is easy to dream about success, but it takes discipline to wake up every day and chase that dream with purpose. Legacy begins in the small, unseen choices. The hours you train when no one watches, the sacrifices you make when others take the easy road, and the patience you maintain when results come slowly. Discipline creates order in a world full of distractions. It teaches you to stay focused when others lose direction. It keeps you grounded when success tries to make you arrogant and keeps you motivated when failure tries to make you quit. Discipline is not an action, it's a mindset. It's the understanding that consistency is more powerful than motivation because motivation fades, but discipline remains. Motivation depends on how you feel, but discipline depends on who you are. A disciplined person doesn't wait for the right mood or perfect moment. They act regardless of circumstances. They understand that greatness doesn't come from intensity, but from consistency. Every day they repeat the same effort, the same training, the same focus, until discipline becomes part of their identity. Legacy is not built on victories alone. It is built on how you conduct yourself while pursuing them. A disciplined person earns respect not just for what they achieve, but for how they achieve it. They stay true to their values, remain respectful in victory, and humble in success. They don't cut corners or betray principles for short-term gain. That integrity becomes their signature. People remember not only what they did, but the discipline with which they lived. Every generation that follows learns from their example because discipline is contagious. It inspires others to live with purpose, order, and honor. That is how discipline turns into legacy, by setting a standard for others to follow. Discipline also gives you control over your destiny. When you live without discipline, life controls you. You react to circumstances, emotions, and distractions. But when you live with discipline, you control your time, your habits, and your focus. You begin to live intentionally. You understand that each day is an opportunity to strengthen your foundation. Every hour counts, every action matters. This self-control becomes your greatest weapon in a world that constantly tries to pull you in every direction. Discipline helps you say no to what doesn't serve your mission, no to comfort that weakens your spirit, and no to pride that blinds your judgment. A disciplined life is not always easy. It demands sacrifice. You will miss celebrations, comfort, and recognition. But while others are celebrating temporary pleasures, you will be building something permanent. You will be creating a name that carries weight, a story that inspires others to rise. Discipline might feel lonely, but it is never wasted. Every act of restraint, every moment of focus, and every sacrifice adds to your strength. You may not see results immediately, but in time, the world will recognize the power of your consistency. That's the beauty of discipline. It always rewards those who respect it. Discipline also protects you from self-destruction. Many powerful people lose everything not because of their opponents, but because they couldn't control themselves. Without discipline, pride grows, ego expands, and focus disappears. But a disciplined person remains balanced. They know when to speak and when to stay silent, when to act and when to wait. They never allow success to make them reckless or fame to make them forgetful. Discipline keeps the heart humble and the mind sharp. It allows you to keep improving even when the world calls you the best. Because true discipline is not about proving to others that you can win. It's about proving to yourself that you can stay true. The strength of discipline is that it endures long after emotion fades. It doesn't rely on passion or excitement. It relies on promise and commitment. When you make discipline your lifestyle, your life becomes predictable in the best way. You know that no matter what happens, you will show up, you will give your best, and you will not break your routine. That stability becomes your legacy. People will remember your work ethic, your patience, and your respect for your craft. They will speak not only about what you achieved, but about the discipline that made it possible. Legacy is never created by chance. It is the outcome of disciplined days stacked on top of each other, forming a life of purpose. The person who controls their habits controls their destiny. Discipline turns potential into performance and performance into permanence. When your name is spoken years later, people will not remember the trophies. They will remember your discipline, your humility, your persistence, and your principles. That is how true warriors are remembered. Not just for the battles they fought, but for the discipline that shaped every step of their journey and the legacy that continues long after they are gone.